Welcome back to Hooah Presents. On this episode, we have Quinton on the show. We'll be having a real conversation with a real veteran about real things we're all really going through. No shit. Burt Reynolds. Naked on a bearskin rug.
The one and only.
In my Sergeant Major's office.
Something you would expect, right? Walk in there, crusty old salty Sergeant Major.
Yeah. With
There's only two people that can be in that. Burt Reynolds, Chuck Norris.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. You know what? Yeah. That's true. That's true.
That's as true as it gets.
I don't know what else might fly in there, you know?
Yeah.
They had a picture of, you know what? Derek Weida. You might find a picture of Derek Weida naked on a bearskin rug.
One-legged wonder.
One-legged wonder. So Quinton, welcome to the show, man.
So fucking good to see you.
It's so good to see you too, bro.
God.
Yeah.
The beard, the majestic. Oh my God, dude.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm just glad you didn't come in here all baby face, bro.
I know, this is about as baby faced as I get.
That's good for me. I like that.
I had to trim it up a little bit, meeting with some people that respect cleanliness.
Air Force?
Yeah, I went and spoke with them.
Yeah?
Just a little bit. I put my big toe in there.
Yeah,
I was like,
just
should I?
A little dip.
Like, you ever seen that meme where there's the toes by the pool, and like the middle one extends like 3 inches and touches the water? That was about me. I was like, I kind of want to join, but I am prior service. And they're like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I was the Army. And they're like, well, we won't hold that against you. I was like, okay, well, cool. I did something.
That's good.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Those are our brothers. They're all good.
Yeah, they are. But it's a righteous jab. Righteous jabs are okay.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pre-workout and cardio.
Hell no. I've had many of the experiences taking pre-workout and cardio.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you take pre-workouts because you want a nice pump at the gym.
Yeah.
So that's why you take it. But you go, say you're doing your PT test, you go run 2 miles and your thighs are burning a quarter mile in because you're getting all your blood flow there and everything. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Drink some damn coffee and go run.
I like to stick with water as my. I'll support that with water. Yeah. But we get into this pre-workout a little bit because you've done quite a bit of stuff since I've known you.
Yeah.
You've been a fighter.
Yep.
Right. A warrior, soldier.
Right.
A gun bunny.
Yeah.
And you're a bit of an entrepreneur, and now a civilian employee.
God.
I
accept it. I accept my fate.
But your business now you're getting into is bare knuckle supplements.
Right.
Is what you're doing. You've chosen to do, right?
Right.
You went through, like a lot of us, you went through a lot of shit to get to where you finally were like, we need to do this. And
right.
Tell me what kind of got you to there.
Okay. So to start it off, I've always been into fitness. I mean, especially like after high school, that's when I got into mixed martial arts and everything like that, and just kind of noticing the differences and the change in my body and the way it made me feel mentally, physically, all aspects of life. And so I've always been interested in it. And then let's see, this was probably like 4 years ago. A buddy of mine's like, hey, I'm doing this NPC show. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't really want to go stand up on stage half naked with a bunch of dudes, but I'll go do it with you. So I trained for like 4 weeks and I took 5th in Utah.
Oh, that's good.
So, I mean, I guess that's all right.
Yeah, for
training 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But so I did that, and then I kind of noticed something with the industry. It was just everybody had their own like supplements and pre-workout, BCAAs, protein, all that stuff, your typical, your foundations that people usually take, creatine, all that stuff. So I was just kind of noticing that the kind of people that did it were the kind of people that I just thought were we're tools, straight up, you know.
Yeah.
They'd be in the gym, they have their flat brim hat and, you know, like their Ed Hardy shirt. It's all bedazzled and sparkling and all their glory douchiousness. So,
love it.
You know, and so I was always just, you know, kind of against that. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of funny one day. A buddy of mine, his name's Matthew Lucarini. He's a big old burly bastard. He's actually he's a lieutenant in the 19th Special Forces.
19th, okay.
So me and him were talking one day, just kind of joking around at the gym, like, oh man, I know, look at all these Ed Hardy, you know, flat brim wearing mother effers. So just joking about it one day, started talking about it, and you know, we thought about starting it up, but we just never, you know, had the money at the time or whatever. Started saving up a little bit, and then out of nowhere, my brother-in-law, Bruce, he hit me up one day, and he's like, hey man, so I know you know a lot about supplements and everything like this. He's like, what do you think about starting a supplement company? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, dude. I've been thinking about it for years, you know. And so we all got together, started, you know, just throwing ideas together. We came up with the name. If you can't see, you know, repping the shirt.
Yeah, bare knuckle supplement.
Bare knuckle. So we came up with the brand. Our brand, you know, each star represents a branch in the military. So we wanted a little bit of meaning behind it because all of us are veterans, and so that's kind of the route we wanted to take for our company is, you know, get a good supplement that we can get to our veterans that, and here's something that people need to realize. Supplements are supplements.
Yeah.
Almost every one of them has the exact same ingredients. You can go get it anywhere, but it's who you want to buy it from and what you're about, what you represent.
Yeah.
So we want to represent our veterans, you know, our first line responders, you know, like our cops, you know, firefighters, medics, all those guys that keep us safe here at home, and then all of the people that keep us safe away from home, overseas. So
yeah,
that's a big part of us, and that's something that we really want to take care of. So we're reaching out to a bunch of foundations right now to be like, hey, this is our company. We want to donate, you know, so much per month, and to get that going, because that's one of our biggest things, is just giving back to veterans.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of ideas. Our first batch is going to be done in about 2.5 weeks. So we'll have our website up and everything, and it's good. So we're excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I am too. I can't wait to try it out. I'm sure. So tell me, during the development, did anybody lose their minds trying some of this?
Man.
Some of these.
It was like
anybody get like stupid pumps? Like they started getting veins on the sides of their eyes and stuff,
man,
you know,
like
bulging out.
One eye just bulging.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, man,
little
getting the tick, and we're just like, maybe we should drop this down a little bit. And a couple of us were like, hell no. So no, but it was good. You know, we had a couple tastes, and it was good.
Yeah,
it might have been like
the development phase was fun.
It was fun. It might have been like a scene from Requiem from a Dream. You know,
yeah.
We're sitting there staring at a TV for hours, like nothing's playing, but we figured it out.
You were all watching the same show, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's good.
We were all on the same channel.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Fellows amongst you that I know are all real great guys, and I look forward to being able to support you guys some.
Awesome, man.
And seeing as you go and learn with you, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing with us in the community, you know, and you notice the veteran community, we're very much about that,
Right.
you know, squaring each other away, helping each other out, helping each other step up.
Very true.
And doing these things. I think that the way we do things in our community is exemplary of how real success gets made, and how you know how we get to where we want to be. You know, that forward motion to where
Right.
we're really after. This is what our community is doing. I mean, it is doing that. You know, and I'm real glad that you guys are taking the steps that you are, and I'm real glad to be close enough that you know, we can get together and meet and watch each other grow. You know,
Right.
as we do. It's where it's at. I like to beat dead horses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until they wake the fuck up. You know what I mean? Because nobody likes to lose their horse.
No, horses are great.
The horses are great.
Yeah,
So
creatures.
to beat a dead horse, the members of our community that are suffering, that are slumping,
right.
that are slowing, that are slipping, and most all of us have, and we can almost all relate, not all, but most all of us can, right? Can relate or have actually been through the period of slipping, you know, where we come out of the funk, you know what I mean? In your experiences with that, was there things that helped you bring you out, and what were those things if you know, that did?
You know, I kind of lucked out. You know,
Okay.
I was born into an amazing family that's had, you know, they've had my back since day one, and they always will. So that's this is coming from me and my experiences. Your family, man, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
But family's not just blood. Family is the people you keep in your lives and who you know are gonna have your six when shit does hit the fan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that they say you want to beat a dead horse. How many times did we beat a dead horse in the military? That, you know, you take your battle buddy. That's your battle. That's who you're going with. That's who has your six, and keeping that with you at all times, and keeping that mentality that, you know, say you even if you get a new friend, you make it apparent to that friend that, you know, you're there. We're loyal. I have your back. You know, let's take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, and we'll go through it together. You know, you're not walking through the shadow of death alone. You know, like, we're here with you.
Yeah.
If we gotta fuck some demons up along the way, then it's friends and family that are gonna keep you through. You know, I lost a good buddy that he took his own life because of things that were going on in his life, and even though I was there for him, it was his choice to go. He made that decision, and so, but what really brought comfort to me is, you know, the day before it happened, I was on the phone with him and we were talking about a bunch of stuff he was going through, and that really brought peace to me. Like, you know, when it all happened, that, you know, at least that night that I was on the phone with him, he wasn't alone. He was talking to someone for that brief half hour that I was talking to someone that had been through a bunch of shit. We grew up together, and he went to Afghanistan when I went to Iraq. He was a combat medic. He was in the Korengal Valley.
Okay.
And so, he saw his fair share, and he did his fair part, and, you know, he made the decisions he made. But for that one night, when he was on it, thinking about those things, you know, he at least escaped for a half an hour. So
Yeah.
and that's what it's about, man. If reaching out, in my experience, I really feel like I need to call this person, you know. Don't ever push that into the back of your mind, and don't do that, because I've seen it to where it's helped people. And so if that's anything I can ask to any of our buddies out there, any of our veteran community, reach out to those people and take care of them.
Yeah. I like the way that you say you were glad that you could talk to him, at least. You know, that you were there. I on it. So a lot of people don't understand what PTSD is, and some of the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic stress they like to call it now, PTS. One of the reoccurrence of events and the replaying of events that just happens like on an automatic level. It's not something that you can't just change your mind or just get out of it. It's like it just plays out, and the only option is to go through it. And I found myself, and you know, you talk about, you know, us going through fighting some of these demons together, man. And you know, I found myself going through this stuff, replaying in my head a lot, and and it just happens. It's not like you don't. It just happens, and it's not like you feel different or anything. You just are trying. It just is happening. And so the normal action with it is to, you know, start to communicate about it, or the healthy action is to start to communicate about it. I was real blessed to know you during a time when I was going through some of this PTSD stuff, because I felt like I could, by talking with you and sharing, like I was sharing events in my life. I was sharing these events and what you could learn from them. So it kind of gave some purpose and some meaning behind, okay, why I've seen people burn to death, you know, and why I've seen, you know, people blow themselves up, and why I've seen people kidnap other people's families, and how we as soldiers reacted to those things and those events, you know. Being able to communicate that gave good purpose, you know, to me, because it was like, oh, you know, here I'm talking with my buddy, and we were just talking, but it gave it meaning and it gave it reason. Whereas at times where I fell off the wagon a bit and went out into outer space a little, you know, when I went there and was alone, and I was still trying to like deal with these things, you know, which is kind of the worst, the dark side of the PTSD, where you start to deal with this stuff by yourself, and when you go there, it still is happening, it's still replaying, and now the purpose of it isn't so certain anymore. You know, the value in it is starts to vary on a, you know, on a spectrum, and you're like, and it's hard to anchor, you know, it can become challenging. And I think that a lot of us face that, not knowing that that's what we're facing, that's what that is. And so when you say, you know, I'm real glad that you could talk to me, that's the right thing, and it is the right answer for us all. You know, when you're challenged with, hey, dude, I can't stop thinking about this. I can't stop thinking about this. Well, then, you know, you know, I just pray for a way out with it, a constructive outlet with it, because a brother that you can talk to in a positive manner about it, like, well, we know not to do this again, you know.
Yeah. Shit. We found that out, didn't we?
Right, you know.
Kicking holes in walls and shit.
Yeah.
It's just like you're talking about, all these memories or anything that's coming back to you, whatever it be. The way I see it is you have all this input coming in, all this input in your brain. You got to have an output of it, or that's when it gets overwhelmed and it overflows. So you have to find a way to get to, I call it the rage, get the rage out, because that's really what I've seen from people who've been through it. You know, it's something that I've experienced too, is that's how it manifests, is a rage. And so a great way to get that out is, you know, your physical fitness or mixed martial arts. That's been my saving grace. And plastic dummies. Breaking shit in the garage, then.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, it just comes down to that. It's with all the input, make sure you're getting all the output also in a good way.
Yeah.
In an environment that is where it's supposed to happen. In the gym, you know, training, mixed martial arts, anywhere like that. So what about now? So for people who are family members of veterans or community members of veterans, right, and they see your veteran going crazy in their basement or in their garage, beating the hell out of a rubber dummy, you know, or throwing axes, or, you know, or like, you know, throwing Chinese stars at the dummies.
Chinese stars at the dummy, you know, screaming with like a warrior's freaking whelp, you know. Yeah. For these guys seeing this happening, and they're like, these crazy effing veterans, or these guys are mad, you know. Yeah. What is this guy doing? Front squatting 315 pounds and screaming as he drops this weight. What's he doing, you know? It's not, you know, it's not crazy. This is the right way for us to be dealing with things. And when our environment is not is disapproving of our outlets, it can cause a kink in our health, in our mental and emotional health, and it can either cause us to say, well, I don't give a what you think. Yeah. You know, I'll kick your effing cat. Yeah. You know. Yep. Or you know, it can cause the opposite, which is where we go into the basement and put our headphones on, right, and turn down our music, you know, and start to implode. Yeah. So So I think that's a good point. You know, it's something that should be recognized by all of the community of persons who care. You know, the war fighter fights your wars for your nation, and you are us, right? Well, this flag represents every person who has ever lived or ever will live or is living now, who's an American, anywhere and everywhere in the world and in the universe. You know, as if we go out into the outstretches of space with our personnel, right. She represents us. Exactly. She's a living symbol of all of us, even the stomper, even that dirty flag burning stomper. Yep. You know.
When it boils down to it, you know, that is their right to do it, no matter how disrespectful that is. Yeah. They can burn a flag. Even though if I seen it, you know, I would. We talked about this earlier. You know, they take a nice nap.
Yeah, it's good for them. They needed. They needed a rest. They were getting a little bit angry.
They were burning shit.
I mean, it's inappropriate.
It's time for a nap.
Yeah,
it's time for a nap.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Nap time's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about firearms just for a second, okay? So we can carry, by our constitutional rights, right? We can carry our firearms. We can have our firearms in our homes, but we can carry our firearms on our person on an open carry or concealed carry, right?
Right.
Now, concealed carry requires certain classes be taken, right? I personally feel that all weapons owners should have to learn how to take care of their weapon and the fact of the lethality of the weapon system.
Agreed.
It's a weapon, you know what I mean? It destroys. It's a reality. Right. That's what it does. And so, in doing so, I think it's our responsibility to ourselves and our communities to know how to handle it and how to keep ourselves and other people safe when we do handle it, right?
Right.
And not run around like a bunch of scaredy cats, you know, thinking this or that about a thing that we do not know.
Right.
That's almost shameful that should exist.
It's a tool.
Yes, it is.
So you have to go to, you know, you have to take a course to drive a car.
Yes.
You know, people die all the time from car wrecks.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean? But people, for the majority, feel comfortable going and getting in a car because they go and they've had classes, they've been taught, most drivers know the basics of driving.
Yeah.
Unless you live in Utah and you don't use your damn blinker.
They see other people using their cars growing up, though, right?
Yes, right.
Children grow up and their parents are driving and stuff.
And so, I mean, that's something that was instilled in me when I was young, is my family had firearms. We knew you do not touch those. If you touch those, you get an ass whipping. And, you know, but they were taken care of properly. They were in a safe. They were away. You know what I mean? So
was there a coming in of age point where it was like, okay, now it's not an ass whooping. Now it's an ass whooping if you touch mine, but here's yours. Is there a coming of age point where you're like, well, here's yours, son. Right. Here's how you handle it. If you don't handle this right, it's lethal. You can kill yourself or someone else.
Right. That's exactly what happened with me growing up. You know, I think I was about 8. My dad got me a Red Ryder lever action BB gun, you know, and
perfect.
And, you know, he taught me muzzle awareness. You know, if there was ever a time when I, you know, flagged someone, you know, he'd walk over and slap me, you know, be like, hey, we don't flag anybody. You never point that muzzle unless you're going to kill something. You know, you do not point that muzzle at anybody, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
muzzle awareness is like the first most critical thing you can ever understand about a firearm.
Exactly. That's, you know, and it was instilled in me at a young age, so I knew from when I was 8 years old. Then my next step, I got a .22. My next step, I got a shotgun. And then, you know, my next step was I went deer hunting with my dad with a 7mm Mauser, you know, so. And then it went from there, military, then I played with all the cool stuff, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like anything else. It's a tool. And just like anything else, that tool can be used for good or bad. It is not the tool. The tool does not have a consciousness. A person does.
Yes.
That's the simple facts of life.
So responsibility becomes the key and critical factor in
that is what
that
it
thing.
Is.
And we as a as a country, responsibility is inherent in our rights. You can't have them without it. Right. So, I bring it up because I think it's very, very important that we voice that. Now, some states and some cities don't allow for open carry. It becomes criminal. I like to carry, and it's real challenging for me because I would go from one place to another, and I only knew as much as I could research and understand. But then I'd get into cities, and the cops there would give me rules that were totally different from anything I could find online, anything that I could read about their state's rules. You know, it's an open carry state. Right. You can't keep one in your chamber. Okay, well that's fine. That's easy, right? Or or it's got to be a revolver where But then I get into some cities where they call it brandishing for carrying, which is your right? Like for carrying open carry, they call it brandishing, because it can incite others to want to attack you and bring harm. Now, what kind of a city, what kind of a social submissiveness do the people of that area have to allow it to become the case that you can't carry your firearm because bad guys might want to get you for having a firearm?
Yeah.
And if they want to get you, they might get your firearm. I mean, what is that? That's like...
It's back to that scaredy cat mentality.
That's scaredy cat mentality ending up through the democracy having its voice, and ending up creating a place for tyranny in our democracy. That is frightening to me.
Yes.
It's upsetting to me. Anyways, I really hope that more of us can speak so plainly to the facts of it, and are bold enough to represent our rights in all of our dealings. We have to. We're Americans. Please, 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 America, represent who we are and respect and love it and be responsible for your rights, because they're everything. You know what I mean? They're everything. They're what makes us Americans. That shit's not Hooah.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, it is not.
It's not. It's not. But on that point, man.
Yeah.
Tell me some things that you've seen that are not Hooah. So go ahead and express a little of that rage, man. Use us as
How long we got?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I've seen it all from coming back into the civilian life and everything like that. It's, you come back, you go to college, you see the whiny youth. Mm-hmm. They're in college, oh man, like this sucks, like I have a paper due and I got this due, and oh man, I didn't have enough time to do this. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't have enough time? You could have woke up 2 hours before class and finished that effing paper, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy the amount of, I guess I would have to say, the whininess and the entitlement and the expected handouts that I see. Like, here we have a bunch of people that feel like they're getting inflicted whatever way, by the police, by society, whatever.
Yeah.
So what they decide to do is go have rallies and break shit, light shit on fire, stop people on the highway from getting to work at their jobs.
Yeah.
What does that do? It is doing nothing. It is doing nothing but causing chaos and more disorder. If people, for any cause, I'm using Black Lives Matter because it's huge, everybody knows about it. Mm-hmm. For any cause, if they really wanted to change, all those people would go to the communities that are having this struggle and be like, what can we do to help this community out? This block, let's take care of this park. Our park's full of trash and heroin needles, and there's drug addicts and drug deals all the time. Okay, let's get together and go clean it up.
Yeah.
And, everybody be known that this is not happening anymore.
Right.
If they wanted real change, that's what America's about. You step up and you do what is right.
That's right. That's right.
And you go do what is right, instead of they're initially saying, no, you guys need to do all this for us. We're not going to change the way we live. Everybody else do it, and so that we can have a better life. Right.
Which is asinine. It doesn't. It's nonsense to think it happens.
Yes.
It's a like a natural occurrence, it seems, but it isn't the right way.
No.
You know, in the military, we're a global community, but we're Americans, right? All of us, and it's equal. You know what I'm saying? And we make it more and more so now. I mean, now, you know, we've got the newer military, as we see these things where if it seems oppressive or whatever, we want everybody to know, no, you are all equally a private buzz.
Yeah.
You ain't nothing until we break you apart and let you just build up and become a something.
Yeah.
Well, that is the same thing. That's something that's in the world. All around us, you know, in the service, we use discipline and order and to be able to build up to greatness, right? Anybody, you know, anybody. I mean, I've watched guys, you know, fat, disorderly, messy, all sorts of folks come, you know, straight ghetto languaged, freaking foul-mouthed, foul-charactered human beings come and become great men and women, like men and women that I am proud to say I've served alongside from every walk of life, from every country I can think of. I've worked with people, you know, who are Americans now and fighting for America, you know, and working with America as Americans. And our laws are what makes that. You know, our Constitution is what makes us American. There isn't anything else that does it, right? I mean, otherwise, we're just humans, right? Right. But Americans are Americans because of our Constitution, and so if you're going to rally and you're going to seek aid for your cause, you know, have a purpose within within the bounds of our Constitution, so that you can rally this, so you can have the American purpose. Because guess what? We're Americans, one nation under God. We're all together on this. Right. And some of these movements are very disruptive to that reality, which is the reality that gives us greatness together. You know, that she represents. So, you know what I mean? I'm glad that you brought that up. Because that is, I mean, it's kind of a touchy thing, you know, but it's an important thing that I think real veteran opinion is fairly the same. Everybody I talk to feels fairly similar about it, you know, very different levels of understanding of the situations. You know, I have, you know, brothers that are, you know, dealing with things from, you know, from being black men and women in their communities who see the struggle from a different perspective. Exactly. But they too know the things that you and I know about how we get things done appropriately, you know. So you mentioned you know, family being real supportive, right? And they've always been like that. Your father, your family's great. I love your family very much. You know, their family, they're beautiful. And your father, he's real good with you, right? So he's encouraged your training, your weightlifting. He's a heavy weightlifter himself, powerlifter, right?
He's an animal.
He is. He's a powerful guy, you know, real strong guy and great leader, man. Can you tell me some stories, some examples of some simple things that maybe he's done that have affected your life directly?
So I remember one specifically. This was like the week I got back from Iraq. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it bugged you when you got home how quiet it was. Yeah. Just like there was no back noise, there was no explosions. There was, you know what I mean? It was just, I remember I was sitting upstairs in my parents' house, and I was sitting there, and it was just, and I was listening to nothing. I was listening to the no noise. And I just kind of started freaking myself out, you know, just a little bit. I'm just like, why is it this quiet? Yeah. Like, well, why would it be this quiet? It's never this quiet. And then I heard something outside. So, you know, of course, being a veteran, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, you know, you get ready to go. And so, you know, I grab a couple things, couple personal items, and and I head downstairs, and, you know, I'm kind of checking corners and things like that, and go out the front door, and I'm like looking down the road, and I hear my dad behind me, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "Did you hear those shots?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Just listen." And so he sits there and he's like, "Hey, it's nothing but quiet, man. You're in Payson, Utah." I'm like, he's like, "You're good, you're fine." He goes, "And we're here, so don't worry about it." And that was a big thing for me, because when I came home, I mean, you don't even stress about, well, you do stress about what happened over there, but you think about now what's next.
Yeah.
You know, and that night, him and I had a huge conversation just about everything. I told him everything, and he was willing to stay up till 4 a.m. in the morning and just talk to me. And, you know, okay, so what are your plans now? Let's sit down and plan things out. And we talked, and I remember what he said. He goes, "No matter what you do in life, I will be behind you 100%. No matter what you do, no matter what you decide, I will always," he specifically said, "I'll always have your six."
Yeah.
And I just, from that moment on, him and I, we've been like best friends, you know. Me and my dad, we grew up and had some wars together, you know. We were both Rams and just butted heads, and, you know, it took Iraq for me to realize, you know, how amazing I had it here and the amount of support I had from my family. So
yeah. It's awesome, man. Your mom's also an amazing woman.
she is.
And how now moms have a unique time with us men.
Yeah.
And so do you have any specific stories you can share dealing with mom, stuff that was real pertinent that you learned in dealing with her, but, you know, that maybe she learned also, that we can share with our viewers who maybe can learn a little something, you know?
You know, in the military, it's, you know, the self-sacrifice that some of our brothers go through, whether it's their life, they've lost a limb, something like that. Something that it will always stand out to me is when I was growing up with my mom. And when I think of my mom, I think of you know, I think everybody thinks it about their mom. Just, you know, that's your perfect, sweet mom, you know. No, it's your mom. I call her my mum, my mumsy, you know, just like Stewie on Family Guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Mum.
Yeah.
So that's me and her thing. She laughs every time I say it. But just one thing growing up, we lived out in the boonies, and everybody out there raced motorcycles. And so I was like one of the only kids that didn't have one. And something happened with my dad and my mom to where they ran into a little bit of money, and my mom was I think she was gonna get like a new car, and she decided not to, and to self-sacrifice for her son, she went and bought me a brand new motorcycle. Wow. So I had a dirt bike so I could go ride with all my friends, and, you know, that instilled a lot in me. Now that I have a 7-year-old son, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm like, man, one of them is a motorcycle. I want another motorcycle. But, you know, we just put him in wrestling and everything like that. And I have to give a shout out to my girlfriend, man. She puts up with my crazy ass and me being in the garage beating on the heavy bag, you know, and throwing weights around in the garage. And, you know, she is nothing but supportive. So I'm just lucky, man. You know, I'm one of the guys that just lucked out with a great support group. So
yeah.
That's something that, I mean, if there's anybody out there struggling, man, my family will be behind you 100%. That's who they are. If you're having a hard time, you call them, even if it's, you know, some guy that we don't even know, and for whatever reason they came about you, they'll take you in as family. Yeah. And that's something that, you know, everybody needs to share. So
that's real community. That's community leadership right there. Yeah. Great examples. You and your whole family, man. Yeah. I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all of your service. So your girlfriend is pretty cool with you. You say she's real great. You got great support, and your family's all real great and supportive. What do you think it is that they understand? Because sometimes you know, it's tough to understand what we're doing and what we're going through. You know what I mean? Like you start fighting these monsters, and the questions come to be asked. You know, by some people get fearful. You know, and
Right.
And they run from us, you know.
Very true.
And we need them. Like you say, how blessed you are to have these guys there. We really, really need our support to be there and be I hate to say, but stronger than us in some senses, because sure, we went and did these things, and sure, we owned up and we went and served the way we did. These guys are serving with us and for us all the time. So what do you think that is? That difference, man, between like the guy that wants to run from, and some guys end up going pretty bad though too, and so like the reason to be afraid can be real,
Right.
What's the difference there between what you know and what you see in some of these other cases where guys end up, in bad situations,
It's kind of hard just to say, because each and every guy is different. They're gonna take it in a different way, and they're gonna get rid of the input and output in a different way. But from what I've seen, it's and I hate to say this about our brothers and people who've been about it, but you signed up for it. So there comes a point in time when you have to step up and own it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to step up and own it, because if you're just raging and you're not communicating, how do you expect to be helped? How do you expect to get help? And how do you expect your family and everybody around you to help you?
Yeah.
There comes a point to when you just have to step up and own it. And it's a hard thing to do. It's pride, it's everything that you went through, and you have to swallow it all, and you have to come to them and communicate. Like with say I've had a bad day and I'm stressed out, like she knows that. Well, she can see it on my face, first of all, because we've been together for 2.5 years. So I come home and she'll tell me, she'll be like, go in the garage. And okay. So I go in the garage, I lift, I bang it out on the bag, I come back in and she's like, that's better. So you need to be willing to communicate. And if you are looking for a spouse or whatever, you need someone like that. You need someone that's gonna almost put you in your place sometimes. When you come home and you're being a dick, she tells you you're being a dick, leave and go deal with it. So you go deal with it. And so I love her to death for it, because she calls me out. She calls me out when I'm being a dick. She calls me out when I'm being prideful, and I think why I like it so much is because that's also instilled in you in the military computer. Hey, I work IT. Fucking 1-0. But anyways, but in the military community, it's instilled in you that
military computer.
Yeah, right.
Does not compute.
It does not compute. But no, it is. It's instilled in you that say you're gonna do something and you don't do something, they call you out for it.
Yeah.
Beat your face because you didn't do what you said. You weren't here at 0500. I think that a lot of military guys can relate to, and if that's what they're looking for, as a relationship and things like that, that's something that they need to keep in mind, is someone that's gonna, put them in their place and call them out on their bullshit, basically. So.
Yeah. It makes me think too. I noticed some trend in some of the service, some of the Pogue service, at least.
Yeah.
They're trending towards making things more like they might handle in the civilian sector. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas in the military, there, like you're saying, there's a it's self-correcting, right? Some kids lose their mind, and then they get taught like, hey, see how you lost your mind? That shit doesn't freaking work.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Now let's go do it again.
Well,
see if you can't keep your head on this time,
That hits so home right now, because I've had an experience where I was trying to help someone out living in my house, right, for however many months, not doing anything, and quit every time something got hard. And so, I finally laid down the law. He lost his shit and couldn't deal with it, so he doesn't live with me anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, that's why we have a military. Is the bottom line is to here's the threat, take it out.
Yeah.
So guess what? What if that threat's well trained and they're hard asses, you know? Oh shit, they're hard asses. Fuck this. I'm going home.
Yeah,
you know,
right? I don't think we can get this done. That isn't something that you get taught in my army.
No,
you don't learn. This is too difficult. I can't.
Yep.
There is no such thing. You have got freaking orders, and you're going to accomplish it. And there's better hurry up, quick, figure it out.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't compute. You know,
it does not compute.
It does not compute. But I've seen the same kind of stuff, man. I run into the same kind of stuff, and I've gotten in some trouble at times. Like for instance, I had a friend who asked me to do something with him, enter into a race with them. You know, whew, man, it was like right on. You know, and on all that, you know, all my inner Hooah started like, and I was quiet. I didn't use the word. You know what I'm saying? I didn't use the word, but you know,
well, thank God, Frank.
But inside, I was inside. I was like real excited. I was getting, you know, every single day. I changed my whole training routine. You know what I mean? I changed everything to be able to fulfill this mission with this person, you know, and I was so excited about it. And then every time we had a milestone that we would hit. I set us goals in our training, and so we would get to these major milestones where, like, if we did this was going to be awesome, you know. This is going to be one of those days where it's like, you know, the first time when you get coined at the end of BCT, you know, you're like, yes, man, that ruck was crazy, you know. You know, you feel so accomplished.
Exactly,
you know?
Man.
Bruises and blisters. So I had these little milestones set up, man, and every time we even start to engage in them, man, and I even felt like I was being very relaxed towards how we accomplished this thing, you know.
Yep.
And I lost relationships that way. You know, I lost relationships that way because they, just like your situation there, where they're like, every time it got hard, they quit, and it was like, man, you know, you can't. I can't even say that you're a friend because you can't. You know, you're not even.
Yeah.
You need a lot more than just friendship. You need like retraining in your like, you need to be broken.
Existence.
Yeah, you really need to be broken and then taught how to be built and then build, and then you can come back in and say, hey, and that is something that I see a lot in our society, all around our country, man. A lot of our society is dealing with that and doesn't realize it, and they feel this sense of entitlement. Oh, you should make this should be easier for me. Yeah. This should be better for me.
Exactly.
And it's like, you don't run a marathon without running a marathon. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, we need to change the marathon to a 3 mile because that's all I can do. What the hell?
Yep.
They don't even do that for the freaking specials, dude. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're special, we don't change things.
You
like
still
that.
have a set of rules.
You know what I'm saying? You still got to get it done by the by the rules, by the standard, man. That's the only way we get shit done. I hope that message, you know, continues to come forth from us, from our community, and I hope that as we build our businesses and we really engage the community on the civilian rules, on the level of civilian sector. So civilian sector is not easy, man.
No.
It is a challenge. It's a real challenge because it's a freaking dog-eat-dog world, and it's and there's a whole lot of people out there that want a whole lot and they don't want to do shit for it.
Exactly.
And trying to create, you know, we have free market, which is where we thrive. You know, it's where all our creativity comes. It's where all of our hard work comes. Yeah. But it gives us all of that accomplishment and all those great things that make it feel good at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've fought and we've done these things and we've got all of this skill and all of this ability. Now, as we learn how to use it, right? So nobody holds your hand in the civilian sector and says, hey, this is how you use all those tools I just gave you. There isn't any of that here, man. So as we learn how to use it appropriately, man, you know, it's my hope and prayer that we will help our whole country continue to succeed,
right.
and help some of these younger guys that can fall into that trap, because that trap's there. I mean, it was there in the. Yeah. I mean, it's there in all the generations. You know what I mean? That trap of, you know, you know, it's your fault that things are like this. Blame your parents, kind of crap.
Mr. Floating down the river.
Yeah. You know, hey man, I love you, man.
You too, brother.
Brother, I'm so glad that you came on. Right on, man. Yeah.
We're glad you enjoyed the show. We invite you to like and subscribe and comment with what you'd like to see more of. And we'd like to invite you also to visit our Patreon page and support us for further content from Das Hooah.